Hi, I'm Mr. Anime, and today I'm going to be reviewing Rumiko Takahashi's mid-90s anime, Rumic Theater, a 12-episode series where each episode tells a different story in a different group of people's lives. Rumic Theater is a solid reminder of why people like Rumiko Takahashi. In fact, I've seen only 3 works up to this time from Rumiko Takahashi, and those include Mezani Koku, Inuyasha, Ranma 1/2, which were her main 3 big hits. My feelings about all 3 of those were neutral. Well, neutral to bad. But Rumic Theater I feel a little differently about, because Rumic Theater has something that none of them did. Rumic Theater actually has some dignity to it. I can actually watch Rumic Theater and enjoy it. Like I said before, it's a 12-episode series, and each episode we meet different characters. Mystery and comedy are the 2 biggest occurring themes in Rumic Theater. Most of the one episodes that tell different stories are either it's either comical or it's either mysterious / kind of scary. Rumiko doesn't really go all the way. She doesn't like to go all the way with her horror. Like, she'll go to a certain point, and when it starts to get to a point to where it's too extreme, too violent or too gritty or too dark, she'll just cut it off, and she'll cut to something that's pleasant and happy. You can tell this is a Rumiko Takahashi work, also because of the art. If you look at the art, you can easily see that the faces look much like her other characters, so you can tell that Rumiko had just indefinite control over the art production. The music I really enjoyed in Rumic Theater because the music does some very, very cool things. The music, it's very appropriate for the genre. If one of the stories is a comedy story, the music will just fit perfectly with the scenes and the shots, and the intro music did too. And my favorite is the thriller suspense stories. When those stories come around, the music is real piercing. The music it really gets to you. Like when someone's creeping down the hall toward the door with the light under it, you're like, no, don't go in, he's right behind the door. And the music's like, blah, 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 as they get closer and closer, and you're like, fuck, don't go in, and then they go in, and then they die. One reminder would be to not go into mysterious rooms when you don't know who's behind the door. Going in detail about the storylines is a little hard because the detail will give it away. One of my personal favorite storylines involved a family that had just come under serious debt issues. So the daughter is the main character in this particular episode, and we see everything through her perspective. And the family gets in serious debt issues, and they decide to go on a family adventure. And the girl doesn't understand how they can afford it because the dad is buying luxurious toys for her and her brother. He's buying luxurious meals. She doesn't understand, and she starts to think that he is about to commit a giant family suicide and kill all of them, and he's showing them one last great time before they die. This is just one of the stories in Rumic Theater, and it was one of my favorite, and the outcome was quite funny. So Rumic Theater totes a lot of strong storylines and a lot of strong music. The characters, I'm surprised that you can attach to the characters so quickly. Mind you, these are only 25-minute episodes, and by the end of the 25 minutes, generally every story I was like, I either felt really strongly and emotionally for the character, or I felt strongly about the character in some way. Now, touching back to animation and art, I did say that it looked like Rumiko's other works, so you're probably asking me, well, okay, how did it look in general? Well, in general, the art and animation is pretty good. Usually Rumiko doesn't have good background work, I've noticed, but in Rumic Theater the background work is almost better than what you see in the foreground. The trees almost look better detailed than the faces, which I found to be kind of strange, but maybe it's symbolic, I don't know. But I give the art good points because it worked very solidly in this case. Because Rumic Theater tells a different story for each episode, it might come off to the normal anime viewer as a sort of random show. And random shows mean, well, random things. Well, guess what, Rumiko? I can do random things just as well as you can.
Can't beat my randomness.
Rumiko, I really wish you would have given us more time with some of these characters, because in some of these stories are genuinely deeply moving. And to get acquainted with a character and then find it deeply moving within 25 minutes, I think is quite a remarkable feat, because that's just not much time to get acquainted with the characters. Why didn't you give us more of these characters? Some of these characters are great. You can make 26-episode series out of just some of these characters' lives because they're that interesting. Some of the ways that the episodes ended were too circumstantial. Like A relied on B for C to happen. And these kind of ironies, I just don't know if I can handle. I think this is a fantastic show. I give Rumic Theater an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend it, and I think you're going to really enjoy yourself. So if you do happen to watch it, send me a message and let me know what you thought, because I'd love to hear it.